Hey, good morning to those folks joining us in person. Good afternoon to Vince LeVien, our guest, who is coming to us from New York City. I'm Ken Bader. I'm the CEO of the POCUA. But most importantly, this is Police Federal Credit Unions of Omaha's Blue Family News Q&A session, which is awesome to have again. I know we had a little hiatus here for a few reasons. All good. But we have, as I alluded to, a great guest today. His name is Vince LeVien, and he has been a great partner and a good friend to many of our police credit unions for a number of years. I could literally spend a half an hour on his resume alone, but just a few highlights. He is one of the board of trustees of the Silver Shield Foundation. His father was a highly decorated New York City police detective. He's also an entrepreneur. He's got a great little business called I Got a Guy. But for our purposes today, he is the project manager of the finest service organization that offers the killed in the line of duty insurance through the Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha, a great product. Vince, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, Ken.
It's great to have you. We're lucky enough to get Vince in between meetings and projects here, so we appreciate him being in that little corner there. But yeah, I think the obvious question is how did you first get involved with AmTrust and the killed in the line of duty insurance offered by the Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha?
So first off, Mary and Tiffany, it's great to see you. Mary, it was good to see you in Police Officers Credit Union Conference that we had back in Savannah a few weeks ago. So, I've been honored to, be involved in a lot of philanthropic helping, police officers, specifically in New York and the tri-state area, through the Silver Shield Foundation and the New York State Troopers Widows and Orphans Fund and the Federal Law Enforcement Homeland Security Foundation. And one of the board of trustees that I served with on the New York State Troopers Widows and Orphans Fund has a very large insurance company, AmTrust, and he's been wanting to do a kill line duty debt protection to give back. He's very philanthropic in New York. He actually helped the finest federal credit union donated, a lot of, as you know, Mary, a lot of credit unions need that seed money, need that donations because it's a 501c3. So very philanthropic. He wanted to get back to the community. His office, unfortunately, is 2 blocks away from Ground Zero. So during 9/11, his office and his family was directly impacted of what happened on 9/11. He personally saw the police officers and firefighters literally running down the street into the Trade Center. A lot of them, unfortunately, never came home. So he's somebody that wanted to give back, and his family, very philanthropic, not only in law enforcement, but in hospitals. They donate, wings to hospitals and other areas in New York. So he, came to me. He's like, Vin, we want to do something with this kill line duty debt protection. And I was, I'm not an insurance person or involved in insurance. I'm like, all right, let's figure out to do it the right way. And, I sat down with the underwriters to figure out, to make sure that we did it specifically dealing with kill line duty debt protection, how to be specific with police officers that get killed in line of duty and dealing with those departments. So I think we spent a lot of time with the departments and with the credit unions and with the underwriters to get it right. So it's the first ever killed in line of duty debt protection in the country, which I'm very proud of. It specifically gives a death benefit to any police officer killed in line of duty. So we attach that debt protection to any loan, to any credit union. So God forbid, the police officers kill line of duty, and obviously that police department notifies the credit union that it was a LOD, a line of duty death. We pay out any loans. So if it could be a mortgage up to $800,000, a car loan, any loan attached to that credit union, we will pay out that debt protection. We have now 12 police credit unions throughout the country. I have to say, in the police credit union conference that you organized, Ken, all the credit unions have been very happy with the product. I think it's been something that they've been able to promote and highlight with, the credit unions throughout the country. We work with all the credit unions to make. I always want to make sure with our integrity, that we're able to provide the product, but the right product. A lot of times, and Mary, you deal with this, like I deal with it. Sometimes, police officer, can die on a vacation and have a heart attack and, whatever. And some of these, it's not a line of duty death, right? So we'll also, and I deal with this, with the charitable work that I deal with, that we're also very, very conscious that any claims that are going to come in, we want to make sure that, the claims and the information on the claim forms are very direct, that we always want to work with the credit union so they understand what they can submit and not submit. And we worked a long time in the beginning to make sure it had to be, a line of duty debt that the department approves, because we also try and help with the credit unions. That the last thing I want to do is get in a situation with a widow or a family member that there's an issue with a claim, So we try to be very careful in making sure everybody knows, what you can and cannot submit, right? And making sure, like I deal with it, I'm sure Mary deals with it a lot of times, and people that unfortunately, if they pass away, but if it's not dealing with a line of duty, it's the police departments throughout the country deal with a line of duty death as they deal with, a police officer passing away. Like my dad died of a heart attack. He was 68, but he wasn't on duty, right? So we try to deal with that in a very respectful way. The reason why I say that to Ken and I deal with Mary, we've tried to have the integrity of this program that, we're all one family, and I know how the credit unions work, that they're all one family, that we've tried to build it up, that we want to get it right, and I spent a lot of time even with the underwriters and the account managers and Centurion and people that I have to deal with, of making sure that, we're going to get it right. So.
Yeah, and we certainly see that, Vin. I think that everything is certainly above board. When it comes to a killed in the line of duty death, is it just a black and white, where if a department or chief of police deems it as a line of duty death? I mean, some of them are very clear. Unfortunately, if a police officer gets shot in a robbery call, that's obviously pretty cut and dry. But then we had COVID, we got other related things. Is it as black and white as the chief of police labeling it a line of duty death, or is it more to it than that?
We try and make it black and white. I know Mary's on the call and Tiffany's on the call with us. We are very direct in the communications we sent to the credit unions, that it's very detailed in the information that we sent out. Normally, like for instance, in the NYPD, for instance, or the state police, the NYPD, specifically the police commissioner, they deem it a line of duty death in an LOD, which is an official line of duty death, or they call it an inspector's funeral. It's normally standard protocol throughout the United States. In any state, any law enforcement, the police department will deem it a line of duty death, and then that triggers the benefits for the families. Same thing with New York or Omaha. I believe, Mary, it's the same thing with your police department, that they will deem it a line of duty death in Omaha. And then, and obviously, and we do that, Ken, for a reason, because we want to be very, very clear that it's something that's special and unique for the families.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to circle it to questions from the audience, including Mary and Tiffany. And I'll kind of lead in with this. One of the things that has been very valuable to police credit unions of the POCUA specifically, and even more specifically to the Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha, is the ability to not just market, but message the fact that they offer something unique that is clearly aligned with law enforcement families. As we talked about in Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha, they are, I believe, the only or one of the few credit unions serving law enforcement that offer a triple line of protection: the kill and line of duty insurance, the ID theft protection and recovery. I think I said that wrong. And then officerprivacy.com. Yeah, Mary, Tiffany, maybe there's a question in there for Vin, but I think that's been a very valuable message to law enforcement families, not just on a product level, but saying, this is what we focus on, because we're a service provider to the law enforcement in our 3 states and not just another credit union. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. We focus, I think, more so on the officer in a family environment, and try to make it all inclusive. This is a tough topic to talk about.
Yeah.
But Tiffany and I and the rest on the call have lived through this several times in our careers, and watching those families devastated, not only emotionally, but sometimes financially when they lose their loved one in the line of duty. So this was a no-brainer for us to add this service, and trying to communicate it as tactfully to the membership as we can. Obviously, it's National Police Week, and I think this is the opportune time to make sure we get this message out to the membership again. Tiffany, what do you think?
I think one of the really benefits of this program also is that it was made available to correction officers. Every time that we go in to the corrections officers and we speak to them, we're always surprised. They're like, we have a lot of coverage, but a lot of times that are offered to police officers, but they never really include us in those coverages. So I think that is a huge benefit to this program, where other programs I think maybe fail short to some of our other correction officer type positions.
Yeah. I want to circle it back to Vince, because I want to hear a little bit about what you hear possibly from some of the folks that are taking advantage of the killed in line of duty insurance, whether it's with Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha or some of the other police credit unions that take advantage of this. Because I've heard from some of the programs that I've privileged to be a part of that, these spouses, especially these mothers, these wives of police officers that maybe have 3 kids, that there's a real comfort level, to have this killed in line of duty insurance. What do you hear from some of the officers and their families that are able to take advantage of this? Does it really give them peace of mind?
Yeah, so I could say with the credit unions that I deal with, I think 2 things. One, I think it's helping build up relationships that they've had with the police chiefs and the unions throughout the departments. I think when people kick the tires, I always say kick the tires on the program and make yourself feel comfortable. We've worked throughout the country to make sure that the program is something that can be used for correction officers and peace officers. We want to open up that membership so we can help other officers outside of, the conventional, state troopers or the, conventional, police departments, in the cities or in the counties, the sheriff offices, etc. And we've also tried to make sure, these different police associations and foundations, that they could, basically promote it. And what we've seen in a lot of these credit unions, that they've been able to, build up their membership. I know, like, for instance, Eddie Young from San Francisco, and other credit unions, they've been able to build up their membership and market their product in bigger ways. In Omaha, they've been able to build up, their membership and the credibility. I think the one thing too, and I always said this, as you remember, in the beginning, we got phone calls from other credit unions wanting to take the product, and I personally refused to offer the product to anybody outside of the police credit unions. We still have standing firm on that, so we haven't offered this police credit union product to anybody outside of the credit unions, and we'll try to make it exclusive, so we can be loyal to the credit unions that are loyal to us. I fight, you can imagine with the underwriters, then we can make more money if we open it up, say in New York City, to MCU, which, would have competition against either Finance for the credit union or, as you know, all these other credit unions that are much bigger than the police credit unions. But we decided to be loyal to the police credit unions and build those relationships. And I'm a firm believer by the loyalty, you build them with the credit unions, you can build them, with other, credit unions, down the road.
Sure. We appreciate that. I'm going to circle to Tiffany for a minute, because I may be a little ignorant on this, but I believe that each police credit union that offers, in my opinion, very valuable service here in the kill line of duty insurance have some different parameters and so forth. So for your members that are active police officers, how easy or how can they take part in the KILOD line of duty insurance at Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha?
It's actually a service that we provide our members if they take out a qualifying loan with Police Credit Union of Omaha. It's a service that we provide at no cost to our members. We handle the enrollment at the time of application when the member is actually processing their loan. They will sign the enrollment form and we take it from there. It's definitely a service that we find valuable, that we feel is something that we provide for our members for just doing business with Police Credit Union of Omaha. It covers them from the date that they take the loan out and any loans they take out with us in the future, Ken.
Terrific. I've got to circle back to probably the most important question of this meeting, and it goes back to Vince. It's a very sharp tie you're wearing. Which New York City department store did you purchase that in?
So you'd appreciate this. So in New York City, I'm actually in Midtown right now. I can show you a little. This truck moves. That is the MetLife building. So unfortunately, I'm sure you've seen, I don't know if you saw in the news, we actually have an event. The assistant director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, is doing an event shortly. There was a shooting in Buffalo over the weekend.
Yeah.
That killed a number of people. And when that happens, they try and get all law enforcement together, basically to do threat assessments on, other areas. So I actually have a meeting shortly, but I think this tie I got it from Brooks Brothers.
Okay, yeah, it looks like a very Brooks Brothers tie. If one man could say to another, "You're looking very handsome today, man."
Thank you. Fake it till you make it, Kenny.
Yeah. Don't tell me that you're not driving it in this meeting at the same time.
No, I'm stopped. I'm actually parked. I got
here.
Okay. Let me show you. That's the famous Waldorf Astoria.
Yeah.
Our famous New York City cab.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on Park Avenue and 51st Street right now.
Got it. Well, since it'll probably take you 3 hours to go 5 blocks to where you need to be.
You see this? Look at this. This is what I live in. Look at this. That's the traffic. It's one thing that's nice. I'm sure with Omaha and everybody else, it's actually nice to see everybody back to reality. After we were able to spend time in Savannah. It's one thing to see that the world is back after 2.5 years, that everything's kind of back, and everybody's kind of back to their normal way of life. I think everybody were affected by COVID one way or the other, but it's actually I would never say this. It's actually good to see traffic, it means people are back, and people are back to the city, and businesses are back, and people are back to work.
Yeah, living in Los Angeles and being on the 405 on Saturday, I don't know if I could necessarily share your sentiment of being glad that traffic is back, but it definitely is. People were going everywhere this weekend. But as we kind of wrap this up, Mary, Tiffany, any last questions for Vince LeVien or comments on the KILOD line of duty insurance?
Just really appreciate that giving us the opportunity to participate in this program. I feel like it's a valuable asset to our membership, and we're just glad that we were able to come on board. So Vince, thank you for all of your hard work with this program. We truly appreciate it and see it as a benefit to our members.
It's my honor.
And my thanks as well. You're helping us to help our members, and that's what we're here for, and that's what we take to heart. And we appreciate your time today. We know you're a very busy man.
Yeah, everybody's busy.
Thank you, Vin, for what you do. Thank you for taking some time out of what I know is obviously a really busy day, and most importantly, stay safe out there, man.
Thank you. Good seeing everybody.
Good seeing you too. And thank you to all of you who either joined us here live or are watching the video of this Blue Family Q&A session. We will be back with you, I believe, in almost exactly a month with our next session. So thank you. Take care and stay safe. Bye. Thank you for watching the Blue Family News Q&A series, brought to you by Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha. To learn more about Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha, go to opfcu.net.